No matter if you're for or against, left or right, against the topics about how COVID has had long-term impacts on us and our children, I just want you to listen to this. My absolute heroes, Chamath, Sachs, everybody in the All In podcast talk about the long-form issues that COVID and lockdowns and lack of education is having on our children right now. We are seeing kids that cannot communicate, did not have a great education, don't know human interaction, and are having poor school performance. So we are stimulating them with these drugs that we know are inherently negative for their long-term objective. And they are now explaining this is why we need to have consequences and responsibility for the organizations and people that completely shut down our entire world and masked our kids and did all these different things. This is why we have to have consequences, because now we are having major issues coming down the pipe with our kids.
Stimulant prescription is now the single biggest epidemic in children. It is now twice as prescribed as contraceptives and asthma drugs.
And why, Chamath? Why are we doing this? To get them to score higher on a test, to be more attentive in school?
Well, it's actually this negative feedback loop where these children were miseducated during COVID. It had huge psychological and academic damage to them. Our test scores have fallen off of a cliff relative to how we used to do, relative to other countries. I think the teachers' unions have found a way to try to explain it, to basically shield themselves from any sort of critique. And so and then part of that loop is then to look at a bunch of kids that are underperforming in school, and instead of saying, well, maybe these lockdowns and masking and all of these things that we implemented actually had a huge impact, they say, you're misbehaving, so let's put you on a stimulant.
If that isn't alarming to you, I don't know what will be. And you may say now, Colby, that's just hearsay. There's no data behind that. Listen, the data's out. We now know how many are prescribed, and we now know why.
Outrageous. Twice as many prescriptions for stimulants as the sum of contraceptives and asthma drugs for all American kids.
Yeah, it's not that suddenly everybody's got ADHD. It's we failed them. We failed our children, and we're going to use stimulants to have them catch up. We should be doing summer schools, after-school programs, weekends, whatever.
We failed them because of our response to COVID. That is why we need answers to all that stuff, because you need to link these things together to have some real accountability.
Do you still think it was good to mask kids against a virus that they can easily fight off? With phones, technology, and many other things, we're already battling a lack of communication, a lack of performance, and this is the cherry on top. I've had personal family members that have had to take this medication, and I've seen what it's done to them. This is not good.